Hello, and thanks for joining us. Welcome to Majority Caucus with me, Ali Dawood. A lot of issues have, happened, and but of course, we just have some limited time to discuss these various issues. So, as usual, we'll turn your attention to the most pressing matters. Matters of grave national concern. And so tonight in the studio, I have some two powerful guests with me. But before that, we'll be discussing the elections petition. This time around, we have the EC in the witness box. We saw some new dimensions in terms of the court exercising its discretion whether or not to stick to the usual rule governing proceedings, which is the petitioner, the counsel for the petitioners would cross-examine before that of the first and third respondent. But there has been a change because the court has that discretion to exercise as and when they deem it fit. Also on the table for discussion tonight is the fact that Reku Brobe is at pain or has been at pain to explain that the MPP's mode of suspending him is illegal. It is without any merit. And so we would attempt to deal with the matters and see whether or not what he's saying is with any substance at all. I have in the studio Prince Derek J, Deputy National Coordinator for the National Youth Development Authority. And then also, he's no more a caretaker, he's substantive, so he's still at post, in case you are having any doubts. Member of Government Communication Team, he doubles as that. I have Lawyer Chumberima, he is a member of the NDC legal team, and they will help me to discuss the issues in the studio. Thank you both gentlemen for your time here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, lawyer, there has been many developments right when the EC took the witness box, to lead his evidence in chief and then subsequent cross-examination as started today by Tony Lita. But many objections, most of which went against the petitioners, and some one or two, like today, they argued forcefully that it will jeopardize their case if we should stick to the normal rules of proceedings, which is they should take their turn and cross-examine. Among the observations made by the bench, and the subsequent judgment, your general impression?
Yeah, thank you very much, and thank you to your viewers. Justice Tuguba made a comment that the law is in the bosom of the judges.
Indeed.
And they are really exercising control over the case. Typically, case management is done by judges. It's an arguable debate though. But today, the judges returned with Section 69 of the Evidence Act. That talks about controlling the case before the judges. But it really did not support their position that the respondents should first, do the cross-examination. It talked about how they would exercise control for a speedy trial, not to embarrass the witness and all. Philip Addison quoted Section 70 or so. Chachu also quoted from the evidence decree. None of them was taken. So what the judges did was they made their own law. And they said, look, they think the respondents should first cross-examine the witness. I do not have any problem with that decision. It's in their own wisdom that they think the respondents should do that first. Indeed, whatever it is, the man has spoken. And if the petitioners who took the matter to court are running away from their own shadows, then you could tell. Because if you have a solid case, nothing can stop it from being solid. Nobody can destroy a rock. You understand? That is so solid. I have heard Kokubaku saying that the petition's case is rock solid. If it is that solid, you don't care whether you lead in cross-examination or somebody else leads in cross-examination. They were arguing that when Ashedi Gete was put in the box, And after they cross-examining him, the EC, instead of cross-examining Asiedu Nketia on the issues that he has, talked about, he rather, in a way, re-examined Asiedu Nketia to correct the mistakes that he has made. We were all viewing or watching what was happening in court. How Nanado attacked Philip Addison in court for allowing Asiedu Nketia, for allowing the EC. That was last week, just at the tail end of Asiedu Nketia's cross-examination.
Right after court. Disappointed.
Yes,
the performance of Addison.
He attacked Addison in court. That why did he allow Addison to? Why did Addison allow the EC to, in a way, re-examine Asiedu Nketia to correct the mistakes that he has made? Now, you ask yourself, are we in this matter for the truth, or we are in this matter for technicalities? You see, I've always questioned why the NPP did not put before the Supreme Court all the 26,002 polling stations and tell the Supreme Court that, look, there are so many that we have done some selection of them, maybe 11,000. And based on the 11,000, if we have a case, look into the rest of the 26,000. But when you bring up Asukwa, they are objecting. When you want to tender biometric verification machines, which is a primary source of evidence that people voted or didn't vote with the machine, they are objecting. So the question clearly is there that they are not into this matter on a matter of the truth, for the Supreme Court to find out the truth and rule.
One would ask, or somebody may ask, perhaps those are part of the rules of court proceedings. If you want to rely on some piece of evidence, you must attach it to your affidavit.
Thank you very much. You see, this argument has been made. You ask yourself, who drew the first blood with breaching the rules or the directives of the Supreme Court? When, Bawumia was in the witness box, he amended his pleadings in the witness box. Was it allowed? Now, this is a petition that is time-bound. You need to file within time. Okay? You have been given, I think, 21 days to file a petition. They filed on the 28th. After they filed, how many amendments have they done? If the Supreme Court was strictly going according to the rules, would they have been able to amend their petition? The answer is no. Even in the witness box, Bawumia could, tell the Supreme Court that I just updated this the day before coming into the box. In any court, the judge will say, you are not serious. How could you just say that I just updated this before coming to court? So all the while, what were you doing? So the Supreme Court has allowed the MPP, to file documents out of time. And in the same vein, they think they must also allow the other parties in the suit to file relevant evidence in the matter. Something happened yesterday. One of the judges, just at the tail end of proceedings yesterday, said that the tendering of the BVDs by the printout by the Electoral Commission that was rejected has suffered a fate, just like the MPP was attempting to tender their recategorization. And therefore, he said they should rephrase their recategorization and then tender it. It tells you a lot. What it means is that the judges are for the truth. They want to know more. They want to know what actually happened. Okay. I told a friend yesterday that MPP will not tender the recategorization. Why? They won't tender to give way for the EC to tender the machines. Because if the machines are tendered, it brings the whole of the MPP's claim to zero. Because if somebody voted or did not vote with biometrically, the BVM machines will show clearly those who voted. Now, Addison even went ahead to say that the EC has tampered with the machines.
Yeah.
The EC has tampered with official documents. I want to make it clear on this show and to our listeners that if the official custodian, the custodian of official documents, okay, if you doubt it, the court has nothing before it to determine the matter.
Because what they themselves have was based upon what the EC was provided.
So the EC is the custodian of everything about the elections. If you doubt it, that is why one of the justices asked, can't we employ experts in IT to see whether or not these documents have been tampered with? Now, if you are saying that the EC has tampered with register, the EC has tampered with print sheets. You remember the EC brought up a case where special voting had been blotted out by the petitioners. Okay. And the EC brought the original print sheet on which a special vote was inscribed.
877 or...
No, it was about special voting.
Okay.
Right from the beginning. And then the EC said, look, this is the original. You remember NPP is using, I think, the 9th or so copy of the print sheet, the carbonized copy. That is why certain one you cannot, is very, very faint. The EC has the first one, the original. Yes. You understand it? Now, you are throwing everything that the EC has in doubt. Do you understand it? If the judges want evidence in this matter, who would they follow?
They need to rely on the EC.
Do you understand it? The judges themselves, they know that there are certain original documents that the court has. And if somebody doubts the court on those documents, then, for instance, when you make a will, you file the will at the registry of the High Court probate. And now somebody comes and says that the High Court has changed the will. The man who did the will is dead. Let us even take it that the lawyer who prepared the will is dead. So, are we saying that there is no will?
That's an interesting scenario. But I need to know if the court's decision not to allow for the tendering in of the printer from the BVM machine, whether it will affect the case of the EC and perhaps the rest of the respondents.
Indeed, I understand the justices in one way. You know, it is coming first to the court or before the court that this is a printout. It is the right of other parties in the court to verify whether or not the information that is being brought before the court is right or wrong. Now, if the court had allowed those printouts to be tendered, then they would have gone ahead, they should go ahead to give the other parties the right to verify the printouts. And it would have delayed the proceedings because the already Philip Addison is doubting what is coming out of it.
Yes.
So there could have been a referee just like KPMG again. Okay. And it would have prolonged the
lack of admissibility of that.
It does not affect the case. Why? Okay. The court accepted that they can give evidence of the use of the biometric machines, which Afarijan went ahead to give evidence. It has been recorded.
That was why I was surprised that you admit that you can rely on the BVM machine, but yet when they print out from the machine...
No, there are two things. Okay. The print out, okay, you know, the story that Afarijan told about the machines. Okay. The judges are going to look at the probative value of the story.
Explain to our viewers what you meant by...
No, you see, somebody is saying, the petitioners are saying one thing, Afarijan is saying another thing. So what the two of them are saying, they are going to weigh which one carries weight, and then they will pick
closer to the truth.
Exactly. But when you bring the printout to support your issue, the other party must now verify what is even there, whether or not it is the right thing coming from this, and this will take time. And we are in this case for speedy trial. So that is why the judges in their own wisdom said they are okay with what has been told about the machines, but tendering them, they will not allow it.
So that objection was unanimously overruled regarding tendering the printout?
I think it wasn't unanimous, but it was 7-2. But I am okay with it because of the speedy trial.
I've been told that there's one particular judge who keeps dissenting. Anytime there's a dissenting view, it has to be him first with other justices. But he would never be missed out of this dissenting views, and it is crucial for our deliberation that we pay particular attention to some of this pattern. I'll come back to you so you take us through the rest of the proceedings and what to expect tomorrow. Prince, the political aspect of this trial is attached to the legal aspect, if you like, but we want to know if the NDC is in for any political strategy regarding the case trial.
Well, thank you, and a good evening to the viewers once again. I like to always take opportunity to let the young people know that a lot of good things are happening under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana.
Of course.
The youth are being taken care of. The new initiative is called YIELD, Youth Initiative for Effective Youth Development. So the government business is going on. The President remains undistracted. His ministers are working. His agencies are also functional. YMCA, together with CDD, partnered under the auspices of the National Youth Authority to bring this to fruition today, June 4th. The political angle, after having... You've forgotten today's June 4th. Oh, what a shame. Anyway, yeah. After listening to the legal side of the proceedings in our courts, I think it's important also to put it in political perspective. And I think that currently we are looking at a situation where the MPP wants to create a developing story kind of format. They've succeeded in a way. Initially, Gabi pushed for this whole thing to be screened, and the court resisted. In fact, we're hearing, different accounts that the Chief Justice actually approached GTV for this whole thing to be screened. Another account is that the GTV approached with their OB vans ready to screen. But I think that there is some, angle that needs to be clarified. And again, I think the media would have to help us out because of the issue of the cost to the nation and whether we should keep on screening or not screening. And then the curious thing is the timing of let's screen, let's not screen. It's costing us too much. Whoever is saying that is the GBC, should be aware initially before they started that it was coming at a cost. And what is the cost? And then they did not know the duration. Okay, the trial could have gone on for a year, 6 months. We've barely done, about a month. And so if you're complaining at this early stage, I mean, what was the basis for starting? Now the other question is, why would GBC not be innovative? And if the whole country, and I want to believe that is the case, is listening or watching, and every other TV station is taking the feed from you, what stops you from having adverts? For example, when the judges go into chambers to, consider, just like they do in the football, there's a goal and then there's, an advert rolling. I mean, GBC can do better than that. And I think that Cabral Blay, I may hear, and in fact, coincidentally,
they do.
Yeah.
But GBC, I don't think.
Yeah, but you see,
the
NMC, headed by some very notable people, has one very important.
Relations with the MPP.
No, they have one very important personality in there who actually, for the first time, spoke in court on behalf of the NPP.
Yeah. I will ask Lawyer Chum. He seems very angry.
Yes.
Very, very angry.
Yes.
And you see, I'm worried that anywhere you go, they keep asking, why are all the MPP lawyers always so angry? Some even think they are very arrogant when they take the character of Philip Addison. But, we'll talk about that later. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you see, I'm sure viewers are wondering who this lawyer is, who happens to be on the GBC or the NMC board, which is the board of the GBC.
Would you like to mention his name?
Oh, he looks rather old. He has a beard. He has bald head. I think the picture. That's his name. Yeah, Agotampao. That's the man. And so if people want to read political meanings in terms of the timing, that let's stop, screening the thing now. Who is behind this? It's not the NDC. It's not the EC. Clearly the EC is making its case. Why didn't the GBC stop it when Bawumia was talking? Why didn't they stop it when General Mosquito Asidin Ketia was, delivering the uppercuts and all that? Now they know that the verdict is out. Yeah. The EC is the referee who must say, okay, my two sons, I've given it to you before, but this time around, I think it is this one. King Solomon is speaking. And the verdict is out. In fact, they knew from the trend that today he would say what he was going to say. In fact, when the question was put to him about what he makes of the petitioner's case, that is what Agotampao and the NMC gang and the GBC cabal were trying to prevent. They knew. I mean, it's obvious. I mean, look, honestly, everybody, in fact, a child that was born today knows where this case is going. It is going nowhere. The president is in charge. The government is running. In fact, the investors are going to come back flooding in their tens of thousands. You understand? Like this, in the Bible. You know that story?
I do.
No, you see, the bottom line is this. The NPP know that this is a cut and dry thing. The only thing that they will get out of this, apart from putting Akufo-Addo in the law review books, like I've said before, is to have their supporters not lynch them way back. The supporters were on their neck about to lynch them. If you can remember, you can quote Nana Kumia, who said that they are going to court to prevent the lynching of them, their very good selves. They are being chased from Nana Akufo-Addo's residence, and so on and so forth. Now, there's another political side to it, which was to save their current positions. That is the chairman, Jake, who reluctantly joined the petitioners because he still wanted to maintain his chairmanship. As for Sir John, they knew that bringing him on board was useless. So they didn't put him in. But you see that, again, that takes us into why they put Bawumia in. And I think when we discuss the Reku Brebe issue, we begin to realize that the statements that people like Reku Brebe, what's his name? Atta Kennedy actually wrote a book with another one of the people who have dissented against this thing. That's another political side. Pia Menka. They've all spoken against this court case. Kwame Pienim. If I understand, Kojo Pienim even supports the fact that they should be out of court. In fact, you remember last time when we spoke, I mentioned the two Pienims. Apparently, Kojo Pienim is supporting President Kufuor, who silently is against this thing. You know, the issue of him being put under house arrest and all that. Indeed. I mean, he's an old man. He's got some time to kill, and I don't think that he wants to go with the kind of threats that the NPP is raining on him. But that's another internal politics that we'll discuss in the second phase. Now, I believe very strongly that in all of this, the politics, boils down to just one thing. The Supreme Court even is watching the body language of the lawyers of two sides. And sometimes, if you look at the judgments that are made, one is tempted to believe, if you look at the numbers, that the management, honestly, I'll give thumbs up to the Supreme Court. They are doing a lot of good management. If they were constantly getting a situation where any time NDC raises an objection, it is overruled or it is sustained, the country would think that they are on the NDC side. But they've shown to some extent that they can sway this way and sway that way, which is healthy for management.
Of the application of
beyond the merits. The law is in the bosom of the court. There are some instances that, you can see clearly that this one, like today, the issue of who should go first. If it was very clear, and I'm happy the legal side has been dealt with, Lawyer Addison, in fact, I'm sure Nana Akufo-Addo would have slapped him today. Seriously. If the verdict had not been given his way. So I think he must eat a few eggs this very minute. Because, one, he is a man who claims he has a solid case. This is a team that has taken a petition. If they are indeed serious, and the legal side was very clear, then they should have a cut and dry case. So it doesn't matter what order we follow. He should not have raised any objection. He should have just gone ahead, done his cross-examination, delivered the coup de grace for the EC chairman. But he had no such weapons. Now, in any case, the NPP told us that re-examination amounts to weakness in the person who is in the box. So if indeed the NDC and President John Mahama's lawyers will come and do re-examination of the EC, you should be happier. So that you can make political capital out of the fact that after demolishing the man, they have come to do re-examination. You understand? Because if you recall, when they did the NDC did not do re-examination of General Mosquito, it was because there was nothing else to say, and that takes us to the Richard Sky tape, which he gleefully, very good.
Well, he gave it to them.
Well, information that is reaching us indicates that in order to furtherance his, CV in the Akufo-Addo camp, the CD was made available.
So Richard Sky actually is a member of the communication team for Akufo-Addo.
Well, it's an undeniable fact that a number of media persons have worked very closely with Richard Sky. There's even one in Joy FM who does the midday news. What's his name?
The guy who has been on international assignment, Jeffrey.
Exactly.
Something.
Yeah, so it's not a shame at all. Okay. I mean, if you've worked with Akufo-Addo, it's no shame. I think that it's a plus for some journalists, and it's a plus also if you work with other, political.
But it's a problem to have such persons in a body that's supposed to be neutral. Carrying themselves
in
to
Ghana's
be
media,
yet.
In Ghana's media scene today, we have all shades of political persons. But the difficulty is when they masquerade as neutrals. Okay, we have newspaper persons. I mean, Kweku Baako, everybody knows where he is. Yeah. He's with the MPP, but he pretends to be CPP. There are several of such people. Okay, if you go into the media, I mean, the media houses are owned.
The name is Jefferson Saki.
Exactly, Jefferson Saki. I mean, everybody knows. I mean, he was part of the Akufo-Addo's campaign team. Richard Sky was part of the Akufo-Addo campaign. Media communication team. That's fine. That was in the 2008 election time. As 2012, if they were not, they must be telling us why they just sent Akufo-Addo so early. But that's fine. That's for another day. But I believe that if you take CTFM, for example, Amatefio is known to be an MPP person. You take Choice FM, and so on. I mean, it's very clear where people stand. But the point is that it is not, wrong at all. So if CTFM, owned by an MPP person, and the host of the program at the time, tender in the tape. It doesn't matter whether it's the station or the personality. They all have links, and they may be doing us a lot of good. In fact, they thought they were going to, as it were, make a case for the MPP. But a sad person who, in all of this, I think, is becoming the clown is Gabi. He goes out there, he wears his robe, goes to court, only to put a CD in a machine. And he thinks he's done some great justice to his uncle.
Who found that very
only
laughable
to make the case,
ridiculous.
Only to make the case for General. Because
and endorse his position.
Exactly. It just confirmed the fact that the man had been consistent, he's been telling the truth. And
no, let me get this straight. You actually meant that he went to law school, graduated, and the only thing he has ever wanted to do in the Supreme Court, in the case of such high standard, is to present a CD that would only further jeopardize their case.
Well, he didn't present the CD, he inserted the CD.
Let me go for a quick commercial break. When I come back, the discussion and the studio continues. This is Majority Caucus. Stay with me. Hello, welcome back to the show. In case you're just joining in, this is Majority Caucus live on your multi-TV, also live across the world on www.multitvworld.com. Before the break, Prince, you were making your submissions regarding the petition, but I just want you to wrap up so we can tackle the issue of recruitment, and I'll give counsel a quick minute for rebuttals. Yeah.
Okay. You mean for re-examination?
For re-examination, if you want to call it that way, okay. For re-examination.
Right. Well, I think that the chief strategist for Nana Akufo-Addo, that's Gabi, after inserting the CD as the major thing that he had done. Don't forget, he's a person who was advocating for the TV broadcast. Okay? He's the same person who was advocating for the biometric registration equipment verification. Now, these people are strategically preparing the grounds for the rejection of the final outcome of the court case. They have started. You see, the strategy for saying that we cannot trust the biometric machine and the products from there, that's a printout. It's not just to rubbish the biometric. They know it doesn't matter what the court says. This is just a phase to, first protect themselves, indemnity from lynching. Okay, they've managed to live this long. They think that things have settled down. The dust is down. Now they are going to rubbish the biometric, rubbish even the pink sheet, because after the KPMG do the count, they're going to say, hey, we don't know this pink sheet. Okay. So we don't want to know. That ends the case effectively, really, because if the whole thing is about annulment of votes, and everything is on the face of the pink sheet, everything is on the face of the pink sheet, and the pink sheet is no longer, something that they deem to be credible, because they are saying that, well, we don't trust the EC, well, we don't trust the registrar, we don't trust KPMG, we don't trust anybody. Even, the tamper-proof envelopes are no longer, that is the strategy that MPP want to, So in the next few days, just like the weather forecast, you can see that the clouds are forming over, dark clouds are forming over the courts. Yeah, and Gabby is in the rain.
Thank you, Prince, on that. Yeah, but I want you to help us understand also, as part of your wrapping up comment on this segment, if indeed a KPMG ends up with accounts exceeding the 11,000, whatever that they submit, the implication of that on the court case.
Yeah, thank you very much. You see,
briefly,
I may not be brief. I need to talk about a few things. You see, yesterday the EC, Afajan made a statement that a lot of people were worried about that. Yeah, he's not clear in his mind what constitutes overvoting.
Fadilija said, "I'm confused."
Confused. You see,
mischief.
The man is a man of books. What he did yesterday was that I am receptive to suggestions. I am not, a straight-jacketed person. Now, from 1992 coming, our classic definition of overvoting is when the ballot box, votes in the ballot box exceeds the register. Now we have introduced technology. The technology has brought up certain parameters which may help us to determine or expand our definition of overvoting. But I keep telling people that going into the elections, what was the rules or what were the rules? The rules are not defined after the game. The rules are defined before the game. Yeah. That's why he was saying that, look, now the petitions are bringing up two definitions of overvoting. I may look at them. I don't have a problem with them. My problem, I don't have a problem with the definition. My problem is when they decide to take it from the face of the pin sheet, that one, they will get it wrong. Now, let me do one illustration of the overvoting with the biometric device. When you go to a polling station and you ask them, how many people have been verified today? They take the thumbprint machine and then they quote the figure. The thumbprint machine records, that's counting. Okay. So they quote the figure on the thumbprint machine and tells you, 200. Do you understand it? After voting, maybe 330. Now they open the box, it's 332. Forgetting that those who vote by face only,
verification,
who have been verified by the scanner picks your details and your face pops up on the computer. But you do not thumbprint, and therefore that number is not counted. Okay. You cross and take your voting paper and drop it inside the box. But the
scanning of your details is also being done biometrically.
That is biometric, but it does not do counting.
In terms of fingerprint.
Exactly. The counting is done by the fingerprint machine.
I think he needs to clarify.
Okay.
Because if you say face only, it presupposes a number of things. One is that you don't have fingers at all, so you can't pick, like you are amputated, double amputee. Yes. Yeah. Or that your thumb is not able to, register a print because you've suffered some trauma. So I think it's important that.
Yeah. Okay. So what you do is that they pick your detail with a scanner. Your face pop up. So if you are legally entitled to vote without the thumbprint, that means that you go straight and take your paper and then you drop it in. So you realize that the overvoting is 1, 2, 1, 2.
The so-called overvoting.
The so-called overvoting is coming from the face-only people because their number is not registered on the biometric device. So that definition of overvoting is even problematic. Okay. If you really want the biometric machine to do counting for you, you need to provide another software. Now, even if this biometric system was providing counting, the only way that the count would have been enabled, or someone would know the count, is when they were brought back to the EC. Okay. And then the software, it was downloaded. Okay. That one would tell everything that happened. But at the polling station, the only thing you know is what is on the thumbprint machine. But people have voted with the face only. And therefore, there is a possibility that votes in the box would exceed the number
of the registered people on the machine.
Exactly.
And so it is in the interest of the court to really admit this biometric verification machine.
Indeed.
Eventually, you see, things have happened. The courts once said there'll be no TV.
Yes.
What do we see today?
TV, live telecast.
In the bosom of the court.
Okay.
I mean, the judges are
so
very
we'll get
wise.
there.
And I think that
in conclusion,
the thing is that today, Afaja mentioned irregularities.
Yeah.
And I heard people say, then the whole election was irregular, and therefore
the President
Mama is
irregular, any error.
Indeed, when you read Order 81 of the Civil Court, the rules, the High Court Civil Procedure, the rules of Order 81, it now turns all faults. Let me use the simple word that people, when you're going to court, the faults, that's what people understand, into irregularities, which can be cured by the judge.
Yes.
Hitherto, you go to court, you make a little mistake in your rate, and then your opponent points out the mistake, and your case is struck out. Now, it is not so. The judge will look at the mistake that you have made, and see whether or not they are able to cure, whether or not they don't go to the root of the matter.
They'll have no material
effect. If you leave out the address of the defense, or you leave out the address to be served, clearly it goes to the root of the matter, because the case cannot go on. How would you be served? That one, it will be struck out. But when simple things are done, simple mistakes, the court will give you leave to cure.
Can I give one example? When the initial petition was made, the kind of arithmetical errors that were in the MPP's documents were very grave. Yes. But for the court to have even allowed them to go and come back to tell you that this is indeed a case.
Yes,
so,
now the KPMG issue is very, very dicey and serious to this matter. Somebody has come to court with only one thing. Indeed, they even resisted the EC tendering the biometric register.
Yes.
The register with which we used to vote.
All of a sudden, they don't trust any document that is coming from the EC.
That's a strategy.
Today, the last question, one of the last questions that Addison put to Asedin Ketia was that I suggest to you that the EC did not provide the petitioners or the MPP with the biometric register or with the voters register. The question you ask is, I'm asking two questions. If they were not provided with register, how did they go into the elections?
I'm surprised.
Then it would be a serious irresponsibility on the part of the MPP
to allow such a thing to happen.
That you are not given a voters register and yet you enter the elections. Number two, today, Addison was contradicting himself that the register they had at the polling station is not what the EC is bringing out today.
Because those one
initially you say you don't have register, you were not giving.
Maybe you should not be saying this, and he watches this program. So I mean,
at some point they claimed that there were two
sure
registers in
even
each
tell
polling
him if he doesn't watch.
One separate one for presidential. You remember?
Indeed,
yeah, he
put it to Asedin Ketia that I'm suggesting to you that the second respondent did not give the petitions or the MPP a voting register,
whether provisional or final one.
Whether provisional or final. And today you are saying that the register that you have is different. If KPMG,
we've run out of time, so but you wanted to make the point on KPMG, but it is important that you do that briefly. So we
exactly, I will make that point quickly. There is an issue with the count of the papers.
Yes,
I have heard from certain quarters because KPMG has not officially come out to tell us the numbers. I'm telling you that there is serious issues with the pink sheet. KPMG is now proposing even to do further work on the sheet. But NPP is opposing.
But let's understand this. I have heard some terrible rumors that it is even more likely that if this counting, which has exceeded the 11,000, I mean, from what I've heard,
exceeded 12,000.
12,000.
Exceeded 13,000.
In fact,
Close
getting
to
close to
14,000.
14,000.
Yeah.
That it is likely. I mean, from the observation of that area, I mean, the environment of it is not possible for anybody to have brought that, apart from those who really. By that I mean judges, but I am not suggesting
the judiciary.
I mean the judiciary.
Indeed,
and it's even more possible for those at the helm of affairs at the judiciary.
Sir John alone can do that.
It's serious.
You see,
so
this is a party that is coming to court and say that this is my only evidence. Now, what the EC has done is to create doubt on the face of the pink sheet.
Indeed.
He has created doubt. Already he admitted that there could be errors, and he proved that yes, there could be errors, and therefore he has created doubt on the pink sheet.
Okay.
Now, the number that you yourself, you said you tendered, is doubtful itself.
It's sad.
So when it goes down, then that ends the
because of that serious error. Reku Brobe and Atta Kennedy really are giving
they
it
are not
to...
the only one. The silent majority of the
MPP.
MPP.
Silent majority in the MPP are also giving it to Dr. Baumia for causing this embarrassment to their beloved party.
Exactly.
Prince,
when
tell me about
blank
it.
is equal to zero.
Well,
yes.
I think
they are very
I
disappointed.
think that a lot of drama ensued on City FM today, and I think that those who fail to listen to Eyewitness News should listen to the repeat edition at midnight. Dr. Atta Kennedy was on, and he made a lot of revelations. In fact, then the City FM owner, Mr. Fred Owari, the second vice chairman of NPP, was also put on.
The owner of the Choice FM, is that right?
Yes, Choice FM. Yeah, he actually begged that they should go off air and now go home and settle the issues.
That's
now,
serious.
a number of things come straight to mind. Atta Kennedy said that he had actually met several of the leaders and quietly done, the diplomacy. But when you are advised indoors and you don't take it, it is done publicly. Now, that goes to confirm all that Tarzan has said. You may not like Tarzan, you may not like his timing, you may not like his style, but Tarzan is Tarzan.
Okay.
Tarzan is just Tarzan. He says it as it is. It may rub you the wrong way, but he said his mind. Now, MPP talks about the rule of law, blah, 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 blah. And then they deal Tarzan with the direct opposite, and that is MPP. They are the hypocrites personified for you in our contemporary politics. Now, you listen to Tarzan, and he's not speaking for himself. He's not only a founder or founding member of MPP, but he's speaking for a group of founders. Apia Menka, Kwame Pienim, President Kufuor. He speaks even for the souls of the departed leaders of MPP, including his uncle. What's his name?
Victor Usu.
He speaks even for the souls of the dead and departed in the MPP. So Tarzan is not just a mere mortal speaking out of the blue. And he's being supported by documents written by Atta Kennedy and one today reviewed by Atta Kennedy himself that was jointly written by himself and Apia Menka. So it should not surprise anyone that all of these people seem to be ganging up against Akufo-Addo and his petition. But even more has been revealed. In fact, Atta Kennedy dared Baumia today on radio. And that's what compelled Fred Owari to say that, Charlie, let's stop, ceasefire, let's go and solve this thing. There is an agenda 2016.
By that you mean?
Baumia 2016. In fact, Akufo-Addo's thing is over.
Oh, so that team faction in the MPP are actually promoting Baumia.
You see, but that's a conduit. Recently, Baumia was engaged in an accident.
Yes.
Whether it's an accident or not, I'm sure
the police
coming days will show. But Baumia is being promoted 2016 to prevent the Ashanti side from emerging. Because you see, it's like the Achim goes, the Ashanti comes. That is the thing. And then the Dombos are used just for, not vice president, just to show up the numbers. It's not about, vice president is not a post. Ask Aliyu Mama of blessed memory. It's not a post. You can serve for 4 years, even 2 years as acting president. Redundant. And even when you file your papers, nobody will show up. That is MPP.
I remember.
As far as the Dombo side is concerned. So that's one. So Bawumia is being led on a wild goose chase, just to prevent, just like they've used the court to prevent going to Congress. Okay. They've used the court case to prevent themselves from being lynched after they lynched people around Circle, beat up all the journalists in Ghana. Every TV station and every radio station, at least they had some, casualties. They beat ordinary Ghanaians, and when it was their turn to be chased by their angry and they said, let's go to court because the Lord will save us. The battle is the Lord's. All those things were coined, for their own personal comfort. But you see, Jake is a marketing guru, and so he coins these things for, to save them. But really, there's a message behind the thing. So what does Arthur Kennedy say? Simply put, Bawumia by tomorrow should come out. And he's daring him that if indeed there's no plan for 2016 Bawumia, he should forever hold his peace. And I think that goes to the heart of why Rekubobe and others are angry. They're angry because they also support the other side whose time has come. The MPNIM, that faction. The Kufuor, exactly. That faction, exactly. Whose time has come. So there's a very major problem, brewing in the MPP, and I think that this attempt to, hoodwink all of Ghanaians, including their followers, and the party at large. But
he's been since suspended.
Oh, he doesn't take the suspension seriously. I mean, he sacked them. In fact, when they came, like when the lawyers will tell you when you go and serve somebody, the person can dodge you, and then you have to go back and then later paste on the walls. I don't know whether they pasted it, but they pasted it in the media. Final word
to Lawyer Chum. Yes. And just 1 minute.
You see, so that, the MPP has always shown that they don't respect institutions. They also don't respect the rule of law. They are intolerant, and they've always shown it. When an institution comes out with the inflation figure, they have their own inflation figure. Yeah. When the Bank of Ghana comes out with this, they have their own figure. When the Electoral Commission comes out with the declaration, they have their own declaration.
Even when Rekubobe
comes out with the facts. When Rekubobe comes out with the facts, which is clear on the face of everything, they are denying it. They go to a extent. In fact, yesterday I heard, was it 2 days ago, I heard Dr. Arthur Kennedy asking whether or not there was even a quorum for the National Executive Council, the so-called executive that took the decision. That is, it will come up later. You understand? When they amass all those people right after his speech to sit down and then.
Because it has to do, the National Council is made up of the regional
but
secretaries.
But what I would say is that
Dr. Rekubobe
is able, he's strong enough to fight them. I want to wrap up with this Article 125 of the 1992 Constitution of Ghana. That says, 125 clause 1 says, justice emanates from the people of Ghana. I mean, of Ghana is my emphasis. And shall be administered by the judiciary in the name of the Republic. It shall be administered in the name of the Republic by the judiciary. You understand it?
Okay.
The judges are very much aware.
And so they will do just that.
They will do justice because it emanates from the people who voted.
Indeed.
Prince,
this thing about Mustafa's cases, I mean, cursing people left, right, center. But just in 15 seconds, because I'm going
on the heels of the General Secretary of the MPP
insulting
Rekubobe on radio, live national radio, that he's only fit to clean after Akufo-Addo when he goes to the toilet. Mustafa Hamid, the spokesperson for Nana Akufo-Addo, comes and actually invokes curses.
Yes.
So that's MPP for you.
Thanks for coming, gentlemen. We've run out of time. I will be here, inshallah, on Thursday for another edition of Majority Caucus. Till then, thanks for watching and stay blessed. Bye-bye.